You are listening to StoryMakers, the podcast for women who are ready to step into their true identity, live with meaningful purpose, find belonging and connection, grow in leadership, and walk boldly in faith. Here you can uncover the story that you were created to live because you were made for such a time as this. So today I want to talk about personal growth, which I see summed up in 6 elements. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek at them, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper. And it's kind of funny because I didn't plan it this way, but actually a lot of words that describe growth and creativity and like a lot of things in coaching actually start with the letter C. And I see it constantly through the work that I do, the resources I create, the content like I share. It's kind of funny. It does help to make things easier to remember, but also reminds me like growth is often connected, and these pieces they build on each other like a chain you don't want to break. It's kind of funny. I'm sorry. Um, Things like that just kind of make me laugh. So the 6 elements are capacity, capability, character, clarity, commitment, and consistency. So, capacity asks the question, like, how much and what can you hold? So, that soul deep space that you have emotionally, relationally, spiritually. Mark 2:22 says that nobody pours new wine into old wineskins, right? Capability, so what can you do? So the practical skills, the knowledge you carry. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Character says, who are you becoming in this? Like the integrity and the alignment that sustain you. Romans 5:4, character produces hope. Clarity, why are you doing it? The vision and the purpose that give direction, like Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain. Commitment, will you stay the course? Like you made a choice, you made a decision, but are you committed to it? This is like your resolve to keep showing up, to follow through when it costs you something, when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable. Because without commitment, your capacity and capability, like they're unused. You can't really step into them because what is the point? So let your yes be yes and your no be no. That's Matthew 5:37. Then you have consistency. How are you going to keep walking it out? That's about faithfulness over time. And while consistency multiplies small actions into lasting fruit, like it's not dramatic, but it's powerful in the end. It is the legacy, it's the culmination of the results you create, right? Galatians 6:9 says, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. They matter together because, and they are like that chain, right? The connected chain of everything. Capacity asks like, am I big enough inside to carry this? Capability asks, do I have the skills for it? Character asks, am I aligned with God in it? Clarity asks, do I know my purpose and my why for it? Commitment asks, am I willing to keep saying yes to it? And consistency asks, will I show up faithfully day after day? So together, they give you not just like this immediate push or burst of growth, but the kind of like sustainable transformation that turns oil into provision, calling into legacy, and story into ultimately like influence. So in 2 Kings 4, the prophet Elisha tells a widow, go gather as many jars as she can find. So she goes, she brings them home, she closes the door and begins to pour oil from her small flask, and miraculously, the oil keeps flowing till every jar is full and only stops. When? Not when their oil runs out, when there are no jars left to fill. So that story is more than a miracle. It is a picture of growth and what it looks like in our life. Like each jar has capacity. The woman had the capability to gather them. Her obedience revealed her character. Her purpose gave her clarity. And behind it all was her commitment and consistency to keep gathering, keep pouring, and keep trusting till the very last jar was filled. So let's talk about it a little bit deeper. Capacity. What can you hold? Capacity is about containment, and it's asking, what can I carry right now? Right? Each jar had a size and it could be filled, but only to its limit. Our life is like that too. Our emotional health, our relationships, our schedule, like we all have a current capacity. We have more capacity than we know that we have generally. Again, nobody pours new wine into old wineskins because the old wineskin would burst. It wouldn't have the ability, the capacity that is needed to carry new wine in the next season. You can't pour beyond what your life is ready to hold. Maybe you can hold one meaningful friendship right now, but not five. Or maybe you're in a season where you can carry your family, but not like an extra project at work. Naming your current capacity is wisdom, right? Second thing is capability. What can you do? Like, what do you know? It's about the ability and says, what skills, strengths, or knowledge do I have right now? You can always grow in capacity. You can grow in capability. You can go learn more. But without capacity, what's the point of capability, right? So the woman's capability was in gathering jars. She could go knock on doors. She could ask for help. She could carry them back. That effort expanded her capacity. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. Capability looks like learning to budget your money, your time, managing it all, to nurture like relationships and friendships and parenting or marriage, like to teach, to serve. It is the set of skills that help you steward what God places in your hands. And character says, who are you becoming? It's about getting in alignment and asks the question, am I the kind of person who can be trusted with this? If the widow had wasted the oil or her time and energy and like not going and collecting the jars, not even trying, right? She would have squandered God's gift, but her integrity allowed her to use the blessing wisely, to go wisely steward her obedience and her walking it out. Suffering produces perseverance, perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. When you see somebody who, gets promoted too quickly, um, or they get too much money or too much fame too quickly, they might have had capacity and capability, but without character, things start collapsing. The structure, the foundation isn't strong. Character is what keeps the growth from destroying you. You could implode and sabotage everything that's happening if you don't have character to support what you've been given. In our nonprofit ministry, like Crisis Response International, when my husband and I started it almost 2 decades ago, we just told the Lord, like, we don't want $1,000 till we have the character to steward $100 well. We do not want $100,000 to come in until we can steward 1,000. We do not want $1,000,000 till we can steward $100,000. We don't want 500 people clamoring to work with us until we can steward the 3 that you brought us right now. We were very consistent about asking the Lord to create within us a firm foundation and develop us very slowly, because that was our hope, is that it would be sustainable long term, that we would have a legacy decades down the road, that we would not implode because we were offered too much money, too much recognition, too many people like too many accolades. Like we didn't want that stuff. That's not why we were doing what we were doing. Same thing for my business. And this is like my business is my ministry in the marketplace. And it's basically, I'll always say this, like I have two ministries. I have one that's set up as a nonprofit and I have one that's set up as a for-profit. Because nonprofit and for-profit status are legal grounds in the United States. They are not spiritual laws. they are not um they're not defined by the government of heaven. They're defined by the government of the country. And it's a tax status. That's all that is. My ministry is me showing up on a daily basis to the people right in front of me to reveal the character and nature of a good, loving God. That's my ministry. Has nothing to do with money coming in, money not going, like money going out, taxes being paid, like doesn't have anything to do with that. So, um, having the character to walk out what you're called to, whether you do it in the form of your job that you work for somebody else doing, the business that you run yourself, the ministry at church that you volunteer for, or you're a pastor and you oversee a body of believers, it doesn't matter. You need character to be firm in your foundation so that it can allow the capacity and the capability that you have to be able to grow and be built on the rock. Then you need clarity. Like, why are you doing this? It's about having direction and a blueprint. And it says, what's this for? Where is it going? The oil was not random, it was provision for the widow and her sons. Like, without clarity of purpose, abundance can become chaos. Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. So without clarity, you can have more than enough jars and still waste all the oil. It's like having talent, but no purpose, no outlet. You're burning energy, but not bearing fruit. Commitment. Will you stay the course? Will you follow through? Will you finish well? It's about having resolve. It asks the question, will I keep saying yes when this costs me? The widow probably committed to the awkwardness of asking neighbors, "Can I have a jar, please?" I know I have like 17 jars in my little wagon here. I know I'm asking you for one more. I know it doesn't make sense. There's this guy Noah I heard about, and he did make sense. you know, she had to commit to the work of carrying the jars, bringing them all back to the time it took to stand and like trust when she's like the oil's being poured into one jar after another jar. Let your yes be yes, your no be no. Maybe God is asking you to keep showing up in your marriage or your parenting or your ministry, your business, your dream, your goals, your health. Without commitment, your capacity and capability, they have no container, right? So then you've got consistency. How are you going to keep walking this out? How are you going to keep showing up on a day to day basis? Like it's about being faithful over time, not just today, not just where the next dopamine hit. Over time, it's going to say, will I keep pouring till the last jar is full? Oil filled jar after jar after jar after jar after jar. That miracle, it came through repetition, not just one moment. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we're going to reap if we don't give up. Growth does not come from one prayer, one choice, one step, one day of fasting, one like one meal, it's like one prayer. Like there's a persistence alongside consistency. It comes from a daily rhythm, a renewed intention and renewed commitment to be consistent again and again and again, to show up again and again and again, from the steady drip of faithfulness that fills the jars in your life, in your story. So remember, like capacity is about what you can hold, capability is what you can do, character is who you are, clarity is about why it matters, how are you doing it, Commitment is about staying the course. And consistency is about walking it out daily with renewed commitment, more yeses. When these six elements grow together, your story isn't, first of all, it's going to expand. Like it's going to help you enlarge the place of your tent. It's going to become sustainable. It's going to have a strong foundation. It gets you in alignment with who God made you to be and what He called you to do in this season. So think about these things. Where is God calling you and inviting you to expand your capacity? What new capabilities might you need to pursue? Like new things you need to learn, things you need to go research, conversations you need to have so your capability can meet up with that capacity. How is He shaping your character in ways that you might not even be able to see right now, even through hard things? Do you have clarity about what this is all for and like how to go forward? Will you renew your commitment to stay the course? Not just make a decision, but make a committed decision. And are you willing to show up with consistency, even when it feels ordinary, mundane, grunt work? Like the widow, your story is not about the jars of the oil. It's about what God wants to do through them, through you, and a story that becomes a legacy. Like now we have this story of the widow, right? It impacts, it has a ripple effect on the lives around you. So ask God, like, which of these six elements He's asking you to grow in right now, and take just one little intentional step in that direction, even right now, before you wrap up this episode. It'd be awesome for you to just consider the one thing. Like, what does He highlight to you? Stop and think. Just ask Him, out of everything in this episode, what do you want to highlight? What do you want me to know? What do you want me to do, Lord? So I'm with you in it, walking through it, growing in all of these things myself. Um, yeah, bless you. And I pray that your jars are full. I pray that you find miracles in your life, that your eyes are open to see them, your spirit is awake and leading your soul and your body so that you can experience it, that your soul is awake and aware of what's going on when there's a miracle right in front of you instead of being downcast, and that your body and your will, like just your body and your brain, get into alignment with what God is doing in your life because it is really good right now. Bless you, friend. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss any new episodes. And to learn more about me, my work, and how we can connect, visit sterlingandstonementoring.com or check the show notes. And until next time, remember, all things are possible and figure outable.